Welcome, everybody. We're back for another episode. Southern Wrestling Hot Topics and News, the podcast. Cowboy Cliff Rogers here, and yeah, I know, I look a little different. I don't have my signature hat, and I left my belts in the truck. It's been a long Monday. We're filming this on a Monday. I'm still here. I don't deserve the applause today. But yeah, it's been a long Monday. I had a vicious show last Saturday, and then Sunday had a lot to do. So, still a champion. They're just they're missing. I'll edit it in post. I'll put like a picture over here or something. I don't know. And then of course Manu Soto always calling in, making it happen. Man, you had a luau right now?
I'm just chilling and hanging out. I have a house in Hawaii. I got another house in Texas, where I was born. But I'm up here on my winter resort, up here in Delaware, 35 degrees, out just relaxing. And what do you do in 35-degree weather? You chill out by the fire.
There you go. I love it. Man, it's getting hot down here now, so that's kind of making me sweat a little bit looking at that. It's
There you go.
winter is coming and going pretty quick down here. But anyways, man, let's hop right into some indie talk here, man. A big show just went down in Louisiana. March 1st was UWE High Voltage 12 in Marksville, Louisiana. And man,
Nice.
let me tell you, as a guy that was born in Texas and spent a lot of time in Louisiana as a kid and live here now, the Louisiana wrestling scene is blowing up, my friends. We focus on the indie scene across the South, but a hidden gem that's been slept on for a long time has been Louisiana, and it's popping up, man. I mean, UWE, I'm very proud to say that I helped build that house, and we really showed out this past weekend, man. It was incredible. I think we had over 300 people in the building.
Good show. Good turnout. Good turnout. Get all those crazy Cajuns out there. They love it.
Man, they popped for whoever. See, what I love about those Cajun fans, man, is they don't really care what your gimmick is. They're going to pop for who they want to. I mean, you just got to earn it over there. You got to earn it, plain and simple.
Oh, so you're telling me you could throw some guy out there, doesn't matter how old he is, can show up in an Amazon gladiator looking outfit, kind of a fake Maximus, Decimus Meridius type of guy could show up and the people just love him no matter how old he is.
Were you there? Because that's what happened.
Oh, that's right. Wait. Oh, that's right. You got a guy like that. I forgot. MV. Yeah, I forgot Mark Valiant. Okay, never mind.
He was
Not
there.
that I'm bringing his name up. Okay.
Man, speaking of him, yeah, Mark Valiant is one of the veterans on the UWE roster, and he now teams with a young cat named Akela Wolf, a Viking character, if you will. He was one of the many people to pass through the UWE Academy. I was in that first year of students. I think he came through in like year 3. So, continued success. We actually have students in there right now learning how to bump, roll, and arm drag and all that. So shout out to them.
Nice.
Always good to hear that. We got some ladies on the way. They're
Oh,
yeah, we got some female people cooking in the school right now, and hopefully
okay.
they will be ready to go by this summer. So that's going to be fun. We've got some other males in there too. So a new breed of UWE talent is on the way.
Keep it fresh, keep it going.
I'm kind of one of those guys now. I go in there every now and then and help train, help show the basics, and I love that as a worker. I love that because I was told by my trainer Dapper Dan and his trainer Ivan Putsky told him you can never get enough of the fundamentals. If you
Nope.
If you forget your fundamentals, the house crumbles. And so I love, I tell the students, I was like, hey, y'all don't be nervous because I'm probably going to relearn some stuff with y'all because I've been out doing my own thing on the road for a while now, and it's easy to kind of forget, like, oh, yeah, wait a minute, you can transition to this from that to this, and, you might catch yourself getting sloppy with your footwork, and then when you're teaching somebody the footwork, it comes right back to you, So, no, I mean, I recommend that to all the workers out there, man. Go offer to help teach a class or do some drills with the new guys. I mean, you might be like, oh, Lord, I've let myself go when it comes to this, but that's okay.
Yep.
Repetition.
Yep. There you go. No matter how old you are.
I remember having a match with Aquila Wolf, our Viking, last year at the Huckleberry Brewery show in Alexandria, and I knew right there that kid was going to do something. He wasn't just one of those, hey, I paid my money, now and then now I did my match, and okay, good luck, kid. Like I knew he was going to stick around, and strong, got a big presence, big powerful voice. He's going to be something. So now he is one of the gladiators with your old pal MV.
Sorry, something caught my throat.
They won a match for the vacant UWE Tag Team Championships. So strapping them up, baby, strapping them up.
All right, good, good, good. Mark's been good no matter who he's with to keep that gold polish and keep it waiting for Manu so I could just take it from him.
Dude,
That's
find you a
good.
partner. Find you a partner. Call them out.
I will bring a partner. I will bring a partner, believe me.
See what Kahuna's doing these days. Get Big Kahuna back in there.
Actually, I talk to Kahuna. We talk every now and then. We see what's going on. He is man, he's about half the size as he used to be. He used to be a legitimate 450. He's about 250, 220 now.
Whoa.
He's living the life. He's happy. He's back on the island. He's retired. Just we keep up and see what's going on. He's like, hey, little brother, how you doing? So man, I'm still trying to push this thing. I got that Brock Lesnar schedule where I come out once a year.
Once a year, yes.
There you go.
Well, I'm excited to see you come back. I know that you will be back for the UWE show going on in Austin, Texas this June.
Oh yeah.
And we just got the poster made for that. Man, that is going to be huge. The Palmer Event Center right there in Austin, Texas. It's going to have a bodybuilding competition going on, the Adela Garcia Classic. For all you meatheads out there, Adela Garcia is like an 8-time Miss Olympia physique winner, or something like that. I hope I'm not getting that. She's been to Olympia. I hope I'm not getting the exact name of the title wrong, but Miss Garcia is going to be out there. She always puts that on. And then they're also going to have a strongman competition, an arm wrestling competition, a powerlifting competition, and of course,
CrossFit events that are coming up too. That'll be a good expo, man. And then the big thing, the professional wrestling.
The wrestling, yeah, we're going to be the main event, man. And there's actually a female bodybuilder that, oh my man, this woman here is no offense to any current stars in the big leagues, but Rhea Ripley doesn't have nothing on this lady. I'm talking about Shaka Manchaka. Man, Shaka Manchaka. I'm just saying, I'm calling a spade a spade.
You put it out there. I'm just letting you know, between her and some other other close members of the UWE family, that they watch and monitor these podcasts and Instagrams. I'm just letting you know.
I'm trying to put them both over here in a way. Rhea Ripley is a true specimen of a female wrestler, but I think Shaka might have her beat in bicep inches.
Ooh, now would you compare her to Jade?
Yeah, I would.
Jade Cargill came back looking pretty jacked this last weekend.
Man, speaking of that, you guys couldn't do this back in the day, but you know how hard it is as a current indie star to be, main eventing a big show, 300 people there, but then none of your boys are watching your match because they're all in the dadgum locker room on their phones watching Elimination Chamber. And I'm just like, thanks, jerks. I watched y'all's. Thanks. And they're just like,
They'll catch the rewind on YouTube. They'll watch it
yeah, they're
later.
like, man, I subscribe to the UWE page. I'm going to see it. I'm like, you guys are
Yeah,
dicks, man.
yeah.
But to be fair, as a main eventer, you kind of have to watch everybody's match. You know this because you don't want to
Oh yeah.
replay, you don't want to redo spots, you don't want to redo moves.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
hey, you know, I'm thinking about doing a swinging neck breaker. Oh, there's been 4 neck breakers this show. Not doing that. You know, and
Okay.
that's the thing when you're trained old school by Dapper Dan, you're trained to call it in there, baby. So there is none of this.
Absolutely.
Hey, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What? No, I mean we don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Yeah, so you figure it out in there.
You call it. You call it. You feel it. You feel the crowd. You feel the vibration, and you go with it. That's a true professional. You call it in the ring. If you can't call it in the ring, you need to have a script in hand. And no offense to anybody else, any organizations, anything else. Production is production. But on the indie scene, you're going to get a lot more on the spot in the ring. I don't believe you're going to have script writers for a lot of the indie organizations.
Some do. That's a good point, man. You just brought up. Some these days, you know, the indie scene is not only is it flourishing, but it's trying to redefine what an indie is. And
Okay.
so, like, there's several promotions I work for, UW being one of them, to where maybe not every match, but your bigger stuff will have stories. There are guys that come in to write. Whether that be just a guy that's good friends with the owner that does it because he loves it, or they might hire a professional like Mr. James Beard, who we're blessed to have in UWE, do ours.
Oh yeah.
But you might pay top dollar for a guy like James Beard or Scott Armstrong, former WWE ref, to come in and do your production. I've worked for a federation where he was the producer, and
Nice,
as a
nice.
fan, you're like, oh my god, dude, I used to watch you on SmackDown in 8th grade. Like, what's up? And then
Oh yeah.
you have to do that pinch me thing where it's like, like, oh my God, James Beard is calling my finish for me, and this is going to be an awesome finish.
Yep.
So there are several that WWA in Texas, which we'll get to a little later, Warrior Wrestling. They take a lot of pride in their production, man. And
Nice.
they actually they'll film backstage fights and segments. If 2 guys get fresh in the locker room, go film it. And then they'll pop it on the TV screens the next show to let the people in that town know, hey, these guys have beef, and here's why. So
Good. Good.
really,
That's
really
Derek,
cool,
man. That's Derek. That's how he runs his organization.
dude. Derek
That's
Chancellor.
good.
If you haven't seen our interview with him from last year, man, y'all watch that after this one. That cat there, he's a guy to where I wouldn't want to get too fresh with him. I'll wrestle him, sure, but don't push too hard, because he could legitimately probably cripple you, because he is a very high ranking black belt. And he was trained by the freaking Green Ranger himself, Jason David Frank. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, let's remember that. But man, shout out to Derek and them at WWA for always putting on good shows and stuff. But yeah, man, this show coming up in June at the Palmer Center. You talk about some big production. That's gonna have all the bells and whistles, and we will see a rare in-ring return of Big Manu coming in to face the old rival, Mark Valiant.
Oh yeah.
A tale
The
as old as
301st,
time.
maybe the 303rd. I don't know. Probably like the 305th time. I know it's Steiner math, whatever. I know it's over 300, so it's gonna happen.
It's going to be awesome when y'all are both like in y'all's 80s and y'all are just jousting with wheelchairs, because that's all you can do.
Dude, that'll never happen. Mark's like 75. I'm in my, what am I? 30s,
30s?
40s, 40s, 40s. All right, fine. I just turned 56, but I know he's like 75, maybe 83 or something. I don't know.
It is going to be great when the nursing home nurses are having to separate you two for Well, Mr. Manu is trying to strangle Mr. Valiant with his IV drip tube again.
with his Foley catheter again.
Yeah. But looking forward to that. But man, getting back to this past weekend, man, just for all you Louisiana fans, UWE United Wrestling Entertainment, look it up, check it out, come to a show. We'll kind of recap a little bit what happened. First match of the night, we saw the very popular, a guy that I can say I was trained with, and I'm very proud to say I trained with him because he has blown up. But I'm talking about Ricka Wildley, the Barker of the
Ooh,
Bazaar.
yes.
And in fact, I think we have him slated to be on this show next. I think he's going to be our next guest.
Ooh, nice, nice. That's a very interesting individual. Very, everybody likes to bring up, Rollins from the big one as the innovator. But I tell you what, man, Ricka, I'll put Ricka in there. He is an innovator. He is interesting. You talk about creativity, not just inside the ring, inside his mind. When you're talking to him, you can hear him. And, the fact that somebody asked him, hey, where do you get your gear from? He looked at the guy. He said, you don't make your own gear? You don't create your own stuff? He goes, that way nobody can take it from you. He goes, why don't you be creative? He goes, make your own stuff. And then just the fact of how he wasn't a jerk about it. He was just like, hey, why don't you do this? I was like, man, this guy's got his stuff together, and he's early in his career. He's early in his career. He's not green anymore. He's a veteran, but he's early in his career, and this guy, he's got his stuff together, man. He's got his stuff together, and I can see him getting picked up somewhere not too far from now.
No, no, not at all. What's crazy is just like you're supposed to, he lives the gimmick. So I've ridden with him a few times, going to other shows and where we're both baby faces or whatever. So it doesn't matter if we're in public together. And he'll, how weird it is going into a 7-Eleven or a Why Not Stop or whatever, and going to get your road snacks and your big gulp cup and your gas, and then there's just a clown sitting in there with a pair of jeans and a shirt on, but he's got a clown mask, and everyone's staring at this guy. And I'm like, yeah, no, I promise, there's not about to be a crazy robbery go down in here. That's just my weird friend. And I was like, dude, come on. I mean, you can ditch the mask. Nope, part of me. I'm like,
That's how it works.
okay, yeah. It was be like, hey, like, excuse me, young man, somebody's car is beeping. Is that did you hit your thing in your pocket? Like, is there a guy in a green clown mask smoking a cigarette by that car? No? Okay, it's not mine. Like, so interesting guy for sure, but he went over in his match. He wrestled another young talent. Kobe. Well, let's see. Ashton Blake. There we go. Yeah, Ashton Blake.
Ah, okay.
Almost fell behind the curtain there.
Uh-oh.
Ashton Blake is he's a fiery young talent, and he's a second generation
Yes.
star. Might be a third. I think just second, but his
Second.
father was a Louisiana indie legend, a guy named the Half Breed, and
Okay.
you've actually teamed with Ashton before.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Your first big comeback in decades when you came back and fought at UWE Wrestling for Wreaths 2 last summer. That was your
Yep.
tag partner for the night.
Yep.
So,
Good guy. We keep in contact every day, man. We still talk. We talk. We go over matches. We just talk about things in general. Talk about the upcoming show. So yeah, and we've thrown the idea out there. I mean, for being thrown together as a tag team last minute, and me being a tag team veteran, I mean, we meshed good. It was no big deal. Meshed really well. The old and the young guy in the ring did everything, just kind of grouped. So you never know, man. I think Mark and his buddy might, the Wolf. They may need to polish those belts up, man. Because if we decide to come together and make a run at it, tell you what, oof.
That'd be
I
cool.
hate to see Mark. I hate to see two grown men crying, but that's just what's going to happen.
Well, only time will tell. But I would like to see that.
Yeah.
As a
Oh yeah.
fan, I would like to see that. Let's see what else happened in the night. I know that my good buddy and occasional tag partner, my fellow desperado, the gatekeeper, had to find him another part. I couldn't be there for him. I'm sorry. I'm the champ. I'm in the main event. I gotta get back there and eat my 6 ounces of chicken and my 4 ounces of broccoli and drink my protein and get ready for my match. So I wasn't able to team with him. So he teamed with a guy named OG Dollar Johnson, and
Nice.
they did not mesh well together. I will say that. There was some shoving,
Ooh.
there was some arguing, and then OG just said, "You know what? I'm already getting paid for this," and he just jumped off the apron and left him to the wolves. Man, it's happened. It's happened to me before.
Ooh.
You know, happens to the best of us.
So
Uh,
the gatekeeper man in black had to hold his own, huh?
he had to hold his own, and he had to hold his own against. I'm about to put this guy over because he actually had a hand in helping train me back in the day, but former Austin, Texas based bodybuilding star Prince Fontenot was in there.
Ooh, the prince.
One
Okay.
half of the greatest tag team to come through UWE, Royal Pain. Prince has a new partner, the Black Superman, Jack Strong, and both of
Nice.
those guys they tried it out for the first time. They got a good look. They got a good chemistry going for them. So I encourage y'all to look those guys up: Jack Strong, Black Superman, and Prince Fontenot. You can find him on Facebook as the Prince of Wrestling. And man, they did. I mean, hey, I hate it for my buddy Gatekeeper, but I mean they showed out. Great match.
So
And
it
then
happens. Let me put a footnote in there because you just said the greatest tag team ever to come through the UWE. So that's the UWE. Let me bring up the UWF, which was currently the original because the greatest tag team there was myself and Kahuna, the Hawaiian Crunch, undefeated tag teams. So you want to mesh those two? That's good. But I'll let them have the new revised version of the UWE. But I still
yeah,
claim the original.
brother, we're talking about the reboot here. Okay, you're talking about the
Uh-huh.
original UWF back in the day, which was great wrestling. But
That's how it started. That's how it started.
I do think that is, when Dapper Dan founded the UWE, I think that's what he had in mind, was like a continuation of what you guys were doing back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just back again because I tell you what, Prince ain't no spring chicken either. But I tell you what, man, that guy is in excellent shape. And you put those two together, him and Jax, whoo,
He
man, you talk about two guys that are in incredible shape.
I've been bulking up, putting on some size myself. But if you watch my older matches from like 2021, I'm working on getting this back. Now, don't think I'm not. I'm actively doing it right now. But I used to be pretty shredded up. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I was pretty toned, and that is all Prince Fontenot right there. He gave me the health
Yeah.
sheet, the workout sheet, the diet sheet. Working farm work and then of course working out on my own. I pretty much had that going, but he was like, "Brother, this is what you need to be eating." And I was like, "Dude, I have so much respect for you body guys because this is hell. I can't have Texas barbecue anymore. I can't have pizza anymore. I can't have cheeseburgers anymore." But I followed the sheet, and Prince got me looking prime out there, man. It was it, so
Nice.
a great wrestling mind, a great psychology wrestling mind, um,
So
has
you were
his
looking good, shredded, and only had one outfit at that time, one pair of tights.
yes, only one pair. Yes, yes, Bam Bam Malone. Thanks for bringing that up. Uh,
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I just wanted to. I was trying to get a time reference. I just wanted to make sure we were on the right, right track there.
I messed up by getting rid of that because when I replaced them, it didn't dawn on me. Keep your old stuff. No, no, I got rid of it. So I went back to just having one pair for the longest. Proudly now have two pair. Look at that.
There
I have options in the dressing room now. It's cool.
you go. There you go.
um, so that was a great tag. Let's see. Ruthless Devontae Adams
Ruthless.
Defended the light heavyweight title, and he wasn't very far from home. He hails from Natchitoches, Louisiana, and the oldest settlement in the Louisiana Purchase, actually. It was founded in 1714. How crazy is that?
Ooh, look at history lesson there. There
There
you
you
go.
go. Yeah, I know a few things. Yeah, that's right. And he teamed with, or no, he didn't team. It was a triple, so he fought longtime UWE stick around. He was part of the very first crop of students. I came in the first year, but this guy was like first day of the school. Punk Sinister, the enemy.
There you go.
He's been on the show before. I've interviewed him
There you
before.
go.
Me and him's ridden together a time or two on the road. Punk's one of those guys. He sometimes he looks like the guy that helped put the ring together. It's like, hey, sorry, sir, this room's for workers only, And then you see him put his gear on and go out there, and he can work a broomstick, man. In fact, one time I think, now this was a long time ago. This was kind of before our careers really started getting places, but he did a birthday party show for some local kids that they came to UWE and paid however much money for a couple little quick matches and a birthday cake and all for the kids, and there was like an odd number of guys, and there was nobody for Punk to work. So the kids by popular demand of the kids wanted to see him wrestle the Invisible Man. So,
oh man, how did that work out?
He literally wrestled air, and it looked great.
He wrestled the Invisible Man.
Dude, I was like, look, say what you want about him. The guy wrestled somebody that's not even there, and he made it work.
Which is the Invisible Man. From what I understand, the Invisible Man's undefeated.
Yes, he is, and he put the business on Punk Sinister that day, and I was like, dude,
there you go.
That's talent. I'm sorry, I don't care. I know a lot of guys aren't into the comedy thing in wrestling, and to each his own, but like that's talent right there to do something like that. Yeah. He's gotten away from the comedy thing though. He's more of a vicious heel now. And then, of course, the third man in that match was a returning UWE original, the Dark Wolf, Jake Fury.
Oh, there you go.
The very first.
Jake, okay.
He was the first UWE heavyweight champion back in 2021 when the vacant brand new belt needed a winner. And he was the first champion,
nice.
So, which is, at the time, little indie fed, just got it started, whatever, here's your strap. But the longer the Fed stays around, the more prestige, the more history behind it, the more that means something,
Absolutely.
I want UWE to keep prospering, and these days TV's great, but now it's more about instead of a TV deal, you want a stream deal or whatever you get. If we ever get something like that, and we're playing on everyone's TV across the nation, then then he can say I was the first champion of that. So
yep.
He's actually my ex-tag team partner from back in the day. So got to say, it was nice to see him come back. The guy's dropped a lot of weight, so now he's technically a light heavyweight. And
really,
me and him were tag team champions. He was a heavyweight champion. He was a tag team champion with the man himself, Dapper Dan. So he says, the only thing I haven't done in UWE is win the light heavyweight belt. So that's what we're doing. So,
whoa.
So I was like, okay, I see you, Mr. Triple Crown, going for all of it.
Okay. All right.
Ruthless ended up pulling it out, but man, that was a banger. And as the main eventer of the night, I'm sitting there going, how are we gonna follow that? So it was fantastic. It was phenomenal work. Austin Andrews came back from injury. I know all of you.
Nice. Welcome back. Good.
Not just UWE fan, people that have probably never seen UWE, but you've watched this podcast before. I've had Austin on the show, and or I just call him Drew, make it easier. But we've
you guys are good friends.
Yeah.
Good friends. There you go.
There's a little saltiness there right now. There's some competition because he was supposed to be the champion, or at least he was supposed to get my shot. And
Right.
and due to health reasons, the management, James Beard, the booker, Dapper Dan, all the guys in the office, they bumped the number 2 contender up to number 1, and that was me. And of course, I won that belt back in December against X Storms, and here we are. So now, of course, he wants his shot, and championships kill friendships sometime. Not saying
Now you didn't have anything to do with the health reasons, right? There wasn't some like mishap in the back, maybe backstage, maybe somebody left a wire out and he happened to trip. You didn't have anything because that number 2 spot, it's real eager to take over that number 1 spot, and sometimes people do things. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, Cowboy Clifton Roberts, but
wow,
I'm just trying to
wow,
say,
no. No, there was no foul play. I wasn't putting, shooting arsenic into his chicken breast or anything. I wasn't doing any of that.
wow, you went that far, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking about maybe falling, tripping, or something.
Well, he had
You're talking about
appendicitis.
arsenic into the chicken, really?
I mean, how do you cause somebody to have a ruptured appendix? I don't know how you do that.
Whew. So you're saying that maybe the chicken that he ate, was it a chicken that you picked up for him? I mean, we need to dig deeper into this,
We need to
Cowboy.
find some cell phone records and store receipt
Man,
records and see what happened here to clear my
whew.
name.
Okay,
But he no he came back and he defeated X Storms because they did have a hot little rivalry going there, man. They always put on phenomenal matches together. So if you don't watch anything else from UWE, man, I recommend all the times they've worked each other and tagged with each other. One of my favorite matches in my career to date is the Desperados versus the 2-man army, Austin Andrews and X Storms. That right there is still one of my favorite matches. So it was great to see them work each other. They squashed the old beef. They were both happy.
okay,
X is playing the straight and narrow, being the baby face, or at least these days, for now. So it's a good mutual respect handshake at the end of the match. Good sportsmanship there. Excellent finish. I think X
okay.
went for like a flying a seated senton, kind of like what Rey Mysterio do. You jump off the top, thighs right on the
Yep.
shoulder, go down, and Andrews catches him, power bomb position. He flips down, hooks the arms with the legs, styles clash, boom, right there. That was the finish,
Okay.
and I was like, "That's
Nice.
that's
Nice.
insane." I've seen AJ Styles and all the guys do that in like big pay-per-view shows, but to see it right there in the flesh, and even more so to see my friend do that, I'm like,
There you
that's
go.
something special.
Nice.
Um, let's
So
see.
who would you say is, since you're a top dog on the mountain, who would you say is moving into that number 1, number 2 contender spot for your title?
I would just to kind of silence all the what ifers out there. I would like to put it up against Andrews just to prove that I'm no fluke, and then let's see, you know,
Just to prove you didn't step into his spot, right? Or you stepped
exactly.
over him to get into that spot. You earned that spot.
But we can agree. Had that not happened and he kept that spot, he would be the champion right now because he beat X Storms right there, plain and simple.
Okay.
So, that would have been the match in December. He beat him that night. He would have done it. He would have had the belt. So let's see what else happened that night. Good tag match there. We had the Gladiators, Mark Valiant and Aquila Wolf, win the vacant tag team titles. Strapped up. I know I'm not going to bring it up again. Okay, I'm sorry,
Well,
but
you bring it up all you want, man. I love that. That's just being held for me. That's all that is. That's just a placeholder.
there you go. They wrestled
That's
one of UWE's resident big men, the Tyrant of the Ring, and of course his slick talking manager, the Warden. And then he needed a partner. I think the reason why they were put in that match for the vacant titles because the Warden, like one of our commentators, Lane Frost says, the Warden's got more connections than a box of Legos, and he made it work out. He put him in that spot. He teamed with a guy named Braden Bulldog Hosey, a guy that I've wrestled several times in Mississippi. Um, he didn't have his brother with him, his true partner, but he came out there and worked really well with the Tyrant, and they put up a good fight. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure what Akila's calling this finish, but it's very, very close to the old Ivan Putski Polish hammer. And he hammered him right in the chest. 1, 2, 3. That was it. And I was like, all right, solid move. I wouldn't take it. Yeah, that was good.
There you go.
We got to see two legends go at each other. The legendary, the original Dapper Dan. Let's give him some applause there. From Global Championship Wrestling, the original UWF, Mid-South, Jim Crockett Promotions, numerous places in Japan. He even did a little WWF in the early days of it. Dapper Dan, my trainer, my mentor, he got in there and fought a Mississippi legend, a guy I've talked to, or I've talked about. I've, over in his area in Mississippi, he's a thorn in my side for the Battle Zone Heavyweight Championship, but, we'll get to that later this month. Pharaoh of Funk made his return to Louisiana in a long time. And, man, that match was just funny. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. That was awesome. The Pharaoh doesn't like Louisiana. He thinks it's all a big money grab racketeer. So he came in healing it up a little bit. And so we got to see two heels just heel on each other. And, of course, Dapper Dan had the deck stacked against the Pharaoh because he had his manager, Rugged Rod Price, the California Stud.
California Stud. There you go.
They, man, I'll tell you, I was back there just dying because, me and Pharaoh have some beef in Mississippi, so I kind of wanted to see him get knocked down. And he grabs Dapper Dan's wrist, he goes over, puts him in the arm wringer. He's working, of course, he's chatting it up to the fans. I got him now. I got him now. Yeah, I got him now. What's Dapper Dan do? Did he do like a beautiful, graceful roll to get out of it? No. Did he take the wrist and get it? No. He just slapped him, knocked him down. And I'm like, classic Dap. Classic Dap. And then he comes in, he grabs it again, slapped him again. And he's just like, want to keep grabbing it, you're just going to get slapped again,
Keep slapping it.
Yeah. Man, that was a good display of the fundamentals right there. That was some old school working. Arm drag, hip toss, body slam, work the head, work the arm. It was a callback to the old days, and it was cool to watch. Dapper Dan goes to shoot him off the rope. California Stud Rod Price pulls that rope down. Male slots him out. Referee sees it, throws it out, DQ. But they didn't seem to care. Then that's when Rod gets on the microphone and announces that in honor, may he rest in peace, of the General Skandar Akbar, they are bringing back Devastation Incorporated. So
nice.
Only time will tell who the other members will be, but it's been laid down right there. Old school stable, old school workers. What more could you want, right?
People don't remember Rod Price, One Man Gang, and Manu, Devastation Incorporated, rained hell through Louisiana, through Texas, everywhere. So yeah, Global rang hell through them, especially with, you had the Freebirds, you had, the Guido brothers, you had everybody. Whew.
Well, I'll say the match after that was mine, and that was one of the hardest hitting fights I've been in my career so far. I won, I retained my title, but I wrestled the head honcho from New Orleans, Louisiana, Suge White. Let me tell you, Suge is a big man. He used to play semi-pro football. I think he's every bit of 275. And the guy hits like a horse. I'm just going to say it. He puts it in there. But I put it in there right back. I didn't back down. I mean, you can't back down. And the better man, I think, won. And fun fact, this isn't really a brag because I didn't really know this until like after. But, he's been wrestling about as long as me, about 4 years now. And for 3 of those years, he's been undefeated until me. So I'm one of the very few people. In fact, I think all of his other defeats came from tags. So I think I'm the only person in one-on-one competition to ever get a pin on him. So yeah, that was cool.
That's why you hold the gold. That's why you are the champion right there.
I mean, come on, man. I'm out there just doing what I can, but I appreciate that. I've told people before. I said I never want to be looked at as that guy that he's just lucky to have the belt. I want people to know, oh, he's got that thing for a reason. So I wanted them to find the biggest, meanest, ugliest thing they could for me to defend that thing on, and I think they did it. But
There you
man, for
go.
all you
Good.
people that like Stan Hansen, uh, Dr. Death, Terry Gordy, just boom, boom, Big Van Vader. That's kind of what this was. This was a Japan style match. And,
Nice.
part of me loved it. I loved it. The chops were big. I give them right back to him. Let's see. I actually got the big man up off his feet and slammed him. That was a deafening pop when that happened.
There you go.
He actually busted out a move I haven't done in a long time, and in fact, I don't even think I've ever done this in a show. I think it's always just been in training, trying to learn how to do it. But I got to think of another name to make it my own. But y'all all know what it is. It's one of those moves you can rename it all day, but you always know it's going to be the sharpshooter. The Bret Hart sharpshooter.
There you go.
I had to reach into my bag of tricks, pull out the sharpshooter, and I'll say, me in there working, I'm just trying to win the match, right? I'm trying to get the win. So did I fanboy out a little bit? No, I'm trying to put this guy away, but the crowd lost their minds, and I actually saw some footage of fan footage of them filming it in the crowd, and it's like it's one of those things. It's like if you're going to use that move, don't even try to rename it because everybody you could hear him saying, "Oh, that's a sharpshooter, let's go!" And I locked it in, pulled him over, and wow, and I'm working it. He makes it to the rope. The guy's arms are like this long, so he makes it to the rope. Boom, let go. Bam, we keep working. He drops him with a big Samoa drop. Keeps working, and then about that time he's had enough. And guy's a jerk. He's a heel. What do heels do? They cheat. He goes over there and grabs the belt. Referee Gerald Cooper tries to take it back. Gerald catches a belt to the face on accident, allegedly. Referee's out. He goes to hit me. Duck. Boom. I give him my patented finishing maneuver, the 8-second ride, which was inspired by another guy that you probably know, Chaz Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Actually, that was inspired by Chaz's old move, the Chaz Tizer. So that's kind of my nod to Chaz Taylor. Anyways, I hit the 8-second ride. No one's there to count it. Go wake up the referee. I get hooked for his big Uranagi finish, basically the rock bottom. Flip out of it, roll him up, boom. Remember, it's not always about hitting the hardest. It's about outthinking them. So,
Now see, you had to follow up the Dapper Dan match, and how do you follow up a Dapper Dan match? With exactly that, hard hitting, just all out, balls to the wall match. That's what you do. Good job, man.
and you know what? There wasn't a whole lot of, spot fest going on in that one. You save that for the smaller guys. X Storms and Austin Andrews, they were the spot guys that night. Let them do the spots.
Good.
You know what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
We're gonna make these people believe. We're gonna make it real, and that's what happened.
Good.
So top to bottom was a great show. For all you folks that weren't there or don't live in Louisiana or anything, it's coming on YouTube really soon. Watch those matches; you're gonna love them. Especially the fact that there was a live band there playing everybody out. The Superchargers shredding it down,
Nice.
baby.
Nice.
I couldn't come out to my usual entrance song, but I didn't care because anytime they play some Black Sabbath for me, I'll rock out to that. Came out to some Black Sabbath. Man, the blood pressure was through the roof, and that was a very validating experience for me because that was my first time to ever hit the curtain at a UWE show as the champion. So it didn't really feel real till I watched it back. And I'm like, whoa, that's me with the belt. Look at that.
Go.
So
That's
have
what
I
you.
held
That's
other?
what you've been working for, right?
Yeah,
That's what you've been working for.
and have I held titles at other places? Yes, I'm also the Battle Zone champion. And do I take that serious? Of course I do. But when you're home and it's the place you
It's
started,
different.
it's
Yeah.
it's so much different, man. So
Right.
being the flag bearer of the house that I helped build was really, really something cool to after the adrenaline's worn off and the cold beers are being drank afterwards, and you're watching the fan footage, and you're like, oh my God, that's me, So
Yep.
that was cool. That was really cool. So now we're looking ahead to yeah, and I have to add this. My ex friend, a guy that I'm no longer cool with, the Ungroovy King, Eddie Love,
Oh
did a little.
man, what
He
happened?
well back in
How come
December.
no love from the king? Why? What happened?
Well, everybody's talking about the John Cena heel turn from Saturday night. Well, Eddie Love beat him to the
Yep.
punch. We had our own version of that back in December. The Groovy King heel turn went down, and
There you
he
go.
he wasn't on the card. He wasn't booked. I don't know how he got in the building, but he comes dancing in the building, sliding in there. I just got done, retaining the title against a heavy hitter. I'm holding my strap up. I get down, bam! I eat a clothesline from Eddie. I'm like, where'd you come from? And then, before I can get my bearings straight, here comes Austin Andrews. Slides in, big drop kick, drops him. We pick him up together, right over the top rope, take the trash out. He's upset, he's mad. And I was like, all right, you want to do this? All you had to do was ask, but you had to do this. Now it's personal. March 29th, Huckleberry Brewery, Alexandria, Louisiana. You will see for the third time Cowboy Cliff Rogers versus Eddie Love, only this time there ain't no friendly competition involved. So that ought to sell some tickets, baby.
Oh, oh. You put the strap up against him?
I got to. I got to.
Okay.
He's out
All right.
here.
Just checking.
He's a former champion himself, and he's been saying, I got to get my
Yep.
baby back. I'm like, well, it's under new ownership, sir. So
Okay.
you just come on. Then, of course, me and Andrews, I like to think this will sell some tickets too. But we had to do the stare down. And he got in my face. We had to do the nose to nose, and he was like, "I'm coming for that," and I was like, "Any day, anytime, come on." So
Get in line. Get in line.
get in line. It's lonely at the top. So yeah, I'm thinking some great matches, great memories, great fights are going to come out of that. Great
Okay.
show, top to bottom. And now I'm looking ahead to this weekend, which will be March 8th, in Center, Texas, at the Wyndham Civic Center. Because speaking of titles, I have a number one contender match in a cage against Juicy Joe Angelo Garcia at Warrior Wrestling
Woo.
Alliance.
Okay.
This is Warrior Wrestling Alliance's all cage show they do every year. A little something called Caged Chaos. And man, that's a cool show. You'll notice that most indies out there that do cage matches, it's an all cage show because we don't have the big hydraulic lifts that WWE has. We can't do the din 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 din. Yeah, it in all actuality that takes a few hours to put a cage up. So you might as well just leave it up all night, right?
Yep. There you go.
So me and Joey, we've had a best of 3 series. I've won one, he won one. This is the rubber match here. Cocky little Spanish guy, but I will give him his flowers. He's a great worker. Underhanded human being, but heels, right? So
Okay.
we'll be tearing it up, and mark my words, I think that, no disrespect to the rest of the card, just step up, boys, but that will probably be match of the night in Center, Texas, March 8th, Wyndham Civic Center. So all of you Texas viewers out there, make your way to Center. You're going to want to see that. That's going to be a great show, great
Now,
match.
is that going to be the number one contenders match?
Yes. They
Okay.
our series has so much buzz behind it. They've just decided to make it number one contender, and I was like, why not? Okay,
Okay.
I'll
There you
take a
go.
third strap. That's fine with me.
I was going to say there might be a number three gold for you.
I would. Hey, I would enjoy it, man. I would. I'd like that. When they told me it was a cage, thought about pulling the Hogan. So, that's not going to work for me, brother. I don't know about that. No, I've done a cage before. I'm sure you have too, right? I mean, cage matches is just part of it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You have a favorite cage match memory?
Probably in. Oh man, I'm trying to figure out where we were in Louisiana. Me and it was Akbar, one man gang, myself against Sam Houston and Charlie Norris, big Indian guy. Oh my God, we had to wait between the semi-main event and they had to build the cage. They build this cage 2x4s and chicken wire.
Oh,
Took them
old
about an
school
hour.
cage.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That is
And I'm
crazy.
pushing almost 400 pounds at the time, and I think Gang's like a legitimate 450, 425. Man, Gang climbs to the top of the rope, grabs the corner of the 2x4, and yanks on it, and it just snaps in half. Half the cage comes down. He puts his leg up on the top. Basically, he's making a path for me to be able to get in because the cage is padlocked. They have, I mean, they had drills, they had a pad on there, they drilled it into the wood. So Akbar has the riding crop, gives Manu the go ahead. I start climbing the corner of that cage, and it just starts as you're grabbing the wire. It's just the staples that are holding it in just pop, 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 and it just starts falling down everywhere.
What do we do?
I get
What
into
do we
that.
do?
I get into that. I crawl. I somehow I get my foot in something on the ring post and up and over and tumble and take a fall from the top of the ring into the cage. That's how I got in.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm in. You can't say I'm not in. Like not.
Yep, I'm in. Man got up, beat the crap out of Sam Houston and Charlie Norris. I power bombed Charlie Norris so hard, and Sam Houston will tell you this. I power bombed Charlie Norris like 3 times, and this dude's like 6'8", right? I power bombed him so hard the third time, he crawls over and he basically tells Sam Houston, "I'm done. I'm done. I'm done." And
Wait,
that's
was
all he
this
can
the
say to
match
him.
that like he crapped himself on the power
He
bomb?
crapped himself. He, I had power bombed him so hard. He crapped himself. Luckily, he's got black tights on.
Yeah,
Sam
I
comes
remember
in.
you telling me this story before. Like that is awesome.
Sam comes. Sam comes in. One man gangs made his recovery. We double team him. He jumps off the middle rope. I get onto the top rope. I do my Hawaiian splash on him. We just destroy him. Obviously the match is over with, DQ'd. Akbar finally somehow gets into the ring, and we were wondering why Charlie is just crawling on the ground. He crawls, slithers out of the ring, crawls out, and Sam's trying to help him. We had no idea what happened.
That's insane. Man, I knock on wood, I've never been in a situation like that. But I don't know what it is about me. It's not nerves anymore. I think it's just I don't know, maybe it's subconscious nerves, but I always have to take a huge whiz right before my match. Like I can literally go to the bathroom during the semi main and then there's nothing in there, and then my music's getting ready to hit, and I'm like, oh god, I gotta pee, and that's just that's a curse I have to live with. I don't know, but
No, no, it's just it's your pregame ritual. That's
yeah,
all it is. Your
like I've
body's getting ready. You're getting that fight and flight mode. So you ain't gonna flight. You're gonna fight. So your body's getting ready. It dumps everything, and that way you can fight as much as you want.
I was teaming with Rickle Wildley one time. I don't remember where we were. It was I don't even remember what state. I'm pretty sure it was Arkansas. It's been a few years now. Like I think 2 years ago. I think this was during our second year, and
How many teeth did everybody have when you went through the state?
Um, probably out of the crowd collectively, they had enough for a full set.
Sounds like Arkansas.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, and our opponents come out first, and Swear and Gorilla getting ready to go out, and then there's a fire escape door in Gorilla, and I'm just like, I'll be right back, And then, of course, Rick Wildley's over there with all of his flashing lights and his top hat and all that. And he's like, Clifton, Clifford, what are you doing? Where are you going? And I was just like, I'll be right back. And then I run out there, and then our music's hitting. And I'm like, go, lead the way. And then I come out behind him, and he was like, really? And I was like, dude, I can't control this. Okay, it's just, it's either out there or in there. Pick one. You know what I mean?
And I only have one pair of tights at the time.
Yes, really. So like, I can't afford to do it in these tights. Like,
Nope.
man, I actually wore my new gear in UWE for the first time, and that was pretty cool. You know, the fans are like, oh wow, he knows how to shop and get new stuff. You're starting to wonder about this guy.
Yeah, Bam Bam posted on his Instagram, a GoFundMe page for Clifton Roberts, so to get him new tights.
Okay. You know what? Last time I saw Bam Bam, we were backstage at a show for the Christian-based Ephesians Pro Wrestling. Check those guys out, by the way. Rockwall, Texas. Those guys can work, man. And you know what? It's trying to make the world a little bit better of a place. Christian-based. There's always a good feel-good message there from the guest speaker at the end. Some of the workers themselves will actually share their personal journeys and stuff. So, I think there needs to be more of that out there. But we were working Ephesians, and I was like, hey, man, check it out. New gear. What you got to say about that? And he's like, man, are you still holding this grudge? I'm like, till I die, Bam. Till I die. I said, it's one thing to just say it, but you said it on my show. Like, there's a time and a place, brother. That's not it, But one of these days, I said, I wanted just to have a match with you because I think you're a solid worker, and I just want to kick you in the face, man. It's all that is. But
There you go.
had
Good
the
reason to have a match.
there you go, yeah. Might have a gear on a pole match. And put some new gear on the pole.
There you go.
I'd be about that. We got to somehow weave it in to where the fans are like, why are they fighting over a shirt and a pair of tights? And be like, well, you don't know, but they know. They know.
He knows. Bam Bam knows why we're doing this.
Yes, I kind of. I'm doing kind of like my homage to one of my favorites growing up, The Undertaker, and also an homage to, again, God rest his soul, one of the best cowboy wrestlers in the South of all time, Black Bart.
There you go.
Doing the full body with the sleeveless singlet top with the pants. At first I was like, yeah, everybody's doing that, but then I thought, and I'm like, this is let me just try and see how I like it. I enjoyed it. Plus, I think I've said before, it really it gives you a good excuse to call for the finish by dropping the straps. You know what I mean?
There you go.
You just don't do this because then you're just being a mark for the Undertaker. But no, it was a good debut. It was a good match to debut the new stuff. I had some fresh new boots from Steve the Shoe Man. All you wrestlers out there, check him out, stevetheshoeman.com. He lives in Melbourne, Australia, but surprisingly the shipping's only like $60. So you're not breaking the bank there. Great quality work. Man, yeah, so I can't thank Steve enough for helping me out there with those boots. In fact, I was kind of the UWE guy to bring those into relevancy. I had I tried him first, and then all the other guys started jumping on board. So now I'm kind of like, hey, Steve, you want to hook your boy up with that finder's fee discount? Because you're welcome for all the business I'm funneling into you. Man, and it's good stuff when Dapper Dan buys a pair and says, man, these are good, because they just don't make them like they used to back then. And so for a guy that knew what the good stuff was like, man, to say it was good.
Clifford Massigas was our guy back in Texas when we all started out. He was making boots for Ivan Putski, Tito Santana, some of the guys back in the day. So yeah,
Oh,
It
and
was
this
a
one,
dude. It was literally a
this
little
one worker
shed.
that.
This little shed you walked in.
Oh, so he did all that in like a little tool shed.
That was it, man. This guy was famous, and you passed by his place, you would have no idea that was even and it just said shoe repair.
Huh.
But if you were in the wrestling business, or as Ivan used to call it, the wrestling business, you went to go see Clifford. But yeah, you sent me that link too. I'm gonna have to check out old Steve the Shoe Man and see what he can do for Manu. For his his once a year title match.
Man, he can do anything you can dream of, man. He does the lace up, the high top, the low top. He does custom cowboy boots like I wear. Um, no, I'm not just some dumb redneck that wrestles in his Ariat boots. I have professional, like fitted to my foot, athletic soles, but I like the aesthetic. It's me. So they look. What I love about them is like if I'm wanting to pack light, travel light, or if I'm running low on time, I can literally wear my wrestling boots as like regular cowboy boots, and nobody would ever know. Like
There you go.
they're that legit. Like it just looks like a cowboy boot you bought at a western store or something. But they're fitted from like the ankle down to where you're wearing a wrestling shoe. Um, Only tricky part with that is like you might need to double up on socks or something because there's no laces. So like you can't just tighten them up. So I mean there's ways. You just throw another pair of socks on until you get it right. But once you find that sweet spot in there, and then of course the more you work in them, the looser they get. They start contouring to your foot a little better. Um,
Yep.
Ricka Wildly uses Steve for his boots. He makes everything but his own boots. Okay, he's not that talented. He
Oh man.
I look.
Okay.
I'm doing a
There's some
commercial right
there's some
here.
there's some saltiness out there. Okay. All right, champ. Keep going.
He Ricka actually took some photos of himself and jazzed them up and put filters on them and sent those photos to Steve. And he actually screen printed that onto the leather. So Ricka has his own face on his boots. Like
Of course he does.
I was like,
Of
that's
course.
that's wild, man. That's wild. Dapper Dan goes with the classic black with the pink stripes and the white stripes.
Yep.
Um, I've and strangely enough, Steve also makes professional clown shoes. Didn't know there was such a market.
Ah,
But
there you go.
man, he can do. You dream of it, he can make it, man. I'll have to show that to you.
Nice.
But
Nice.
Mr. Clifford Macinas, the guy that made y'all's, I also heard that he made boots for a worker by you might have heard of him for some of you, Ric Flair. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the Flair boots, woo, were made by Clifford. And in fact, this is pretty cool. But Dapper Dan told me that he wore the exact same kind as Flair, like the same style. And
Yep.
he said he was on a show one time with Flair. He actually worked Flair. It might not have been at this particular show, but he has worked Flair, which was one of the big selling points for me for choosing UWE to do my training. Because when I heard that Dapper Dan had wrestled Ric Flair, I'm like, that's okay, I'm in. Like, all right. Yeah. And not just Flair, man. I mean, Kerry Von Erich,
Oh yeah.
not David. I know the guy's name. I'm drawing up. Kevin. There we go. Kevin Von Erich.
Kevin.
Um, man, one man gang, yourself. Just all of these guys that have been around the block twice and three times. So that's how I knew Dap was legit. But he told me that he was on a show with Flair. Flair comes walking in, being Flair, probably about halfway buzzed from the Holiday Inn bar, and he sees Dap getting dressed, and he goes, "Hey, kid, where'd you get your boots from? I like those." And he's like, "Clifford Macinas." And he goes, "Oh, no way! Those are my. I knew I recognized those boots. Those are my boots." So when I learned that I was like, "That is incredible," and he still has those boots, and he
Oh
showed me,
yeah.
and I'm like, "Whoa, these are like." I'm technically holding Ric Flair's boots right now. Look at that.
Yep.
Sadly, Mr. Clifford passed away, so those boots now are actually really valuable because this was
Oh yeah.
before the days of mass production. So like that was his way of making them. I mean, you're not going to replicate that. Those are uh, heirlooms now, I guess you could say.
Yep.
So he actually Dap offered to let me borrow them when I first got started, and my gear wasn't finished being made yet. I didn't use Steve back in the early days of it. I used a guy named Ace Chavara in Laredo, and he made me a pair of boots very similar to Sam Houston and Black Bart with the triple eagle pattern and everything, and I still have those. I just have to have them resold, man. I blew the soles out of those things, man, because no one ever.
Yeah, I believe you talked to Sam about that with cowboy boots, huh?
Yeah, Sam's like, man, I love those boots, but they're not this. Boom, and I'm like, thank you, Mister Houston, for that. Thank you for putting me in my place, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, he actually Black Bart himself actually when I first met Bart, I'll never forget this, man. He sees me walking over there and he's like, "Hey, you, come here, boy." And I come and sit by him. I was like, "Yes, sir, Mr. Bart. And it's a pleasure to meet you." Shook his hand, give him the old worker shake. And he looks at my boots and he's like, "That right there's the triple eagle. Made a career off of them things, boy." He goes, "I like you already." Yeah, I'm just like, "All right,
You're in.
I'm
You're in.
in.
That's all it took.
I'm in." Man, I'll tell you, I posted this on Facebook when he passed, but man, I was like, I will never forget hanging out with Black Bart. He is one of the craziest individuals I have met in this wrestling fraternity. And I met the
Oh
toned
yeah.
down, gentle giant, old Black Bart. I could only imagine, 1980s Black Bart.
Oh God. Oof. Yeah. I
He,
don't think he would have. I met Bart in the early 1990. So yeah.
he told me one time because I had a brand. Oh yeah, I still have it. I have my custom made Brandon iron with the CCR on there, and man, he saw that, and of course he had his with the double B's, and he picked, and he's like, "Oh, so now we're just out here stealing people's gimmicks is what we're doing." And
Yep.
it was like,
Oh God.
Mr. Bart, I'm gonna be fair with you that I didn't know, and he was like, "Oh, sure." And then, of course, he's joking around with me about it. And then he goes, "Let me tell you what I did with mine." He said one time maybe it was Akbar, might have been Akbar, but somebody was managing him. I know it
Probably Ack.
wasn't, yeah, it was most likely Ak. And he said Ak had one of those cigar torches that you would light up a good cigar with. Not a lighter, like a,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
was working a young Booker T. It was either
Okay.
Booker or Stevie, one of the two Huffman brothers there. And he said they're working, and the whole time Axe just holding the branding iron.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said by the time they got it done and handed it to him for the finish, he said it was cherry red. And I was like, I don't like where this is going. And he goes, now, of course, it was a planned finish. He said, so we made sure that the boy had on, some extra padding on his rear. It didn't work. He said he took it and boom, put it on him right on the butt, son. And he said that he sprints to the locker room. And he goes, we
Hmm.
were having to peel melted plastic off of this guy. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, where was this at? And I'm thinking this had to have been global. And I'm like, man, people, my generation are like, oh, ECW, man, ECW was the craziest. It sounds like global
Oh,
was the original
global
ECW.
sportatorium, man. Sportatorium.
Oh man, that's why I wish I would have, if I could just time travel back and do one good show in the Sportatorium. I mean, from everything I've heard from you guys, yeah, that sounded
Oh
like the
yeah.
time to be alive.
And Danny was in there well before I was. Booker and Stevie were in there well before. Mark was Gladiator. He was there well before I was. Man, when I came in, whew, tell you what, I came in and I think I've told you before. I sat out for almost 5 hours, maybe 5.5 hours for a TV taping on a Friday night, and um, Ack had me come in very last match of the night around midnight, jump the barrier, post Terry Gordy, and Terry. I mean, I picked Terry Gordy up, threw him back in the ring, posted him, and it was the crowd was amazing. But yeah, to work global, oof, to be at the Sportatorium, that was yeah. To be at the Sam Houston Coliseum was one thing. To be at the Sportatorium in Dallas was another. The only thing I could have imagined was the trifecta would have been Madison Square Gardens.
Yeah, yeah, really. I mean, and that should be on every performer, not just wrestling, but like every performer. No matter what your trade, what your craft is, if I could just do the Garden, one good time, because
Yep.
I mean that was Elvis Presley's domain, that was Muhammad Ali's domain, that was
Oh
Bruno
yeah.
Sammartino's domain, man. Uh,
But if you're gonna be in Texas, and if you had the chance to wrestle at the Sportatorium during that time, during any of those times, any of those matches, any of those, be around that locker room, yeah, that was an amazing time.
I would hope. I mean, of course, I'd want them to do it justice, but man, I hope one of these days, just somebody with just some stupid lottery money, just I'm rich, why not? They need to rebuild it or build a new one and try to capture some of that essence back, man. I mean, I know you can't replicate greatness, but like they could just try to bring something like that back to where there's wrestling every weekend, like how you guys did
Oh
it.
yeah, oh yeah. Every Friday night, man, you make that trip from Houston, Texas, 242 miles door to door. You travel, you go, you come back, or maybe you take another trip. You go to Oklahoma, you go to Arkansas, you go somewhere else in Texas, or you take the big trip and you go from Dallas, Texas to Tallahassee, Florida. And then you get a show in Mississippi on the way back, or Louisiana. But yeah, those were good times, man. Those were amazing times.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the guys over there at the Battle Zone in Mendenhall, Mississippi. Uh, Battle Zone Championship Wrestling. I said they've been around forever since like '98. So for an indie, that's a long time. And they weren't. Now every month, once a month on command, they run in the Mendenhall Armory. But there's a little town about 30 minutes from Mendenhall called Raleigh, Mississippi. And years ago, they ran just like y'all every weekend. You would go to the multi-purpose building in Raleigh, Mississippi. And from the stories I've heard, they were like, yeah, they said we kind of had some of that sportatorium energy because we had, did the crowds get small sometime? Yeah. I mean, of course, it's a smaller town and they might start getting burnt. But he was like, man, he goes, we just kept on, we ran every weekend and we had it built up so big, is what some of these guys were telling me. And I was like, see, I said, that's awesome. To where like every
Yeah,
weekend, you're going to be fighting, same building, same crowd, maybe new people. Now, of course, it's once a month, but still, running once a month can be hard sometime, man.
oh yeah,
Depending
oh
on
yeah.
depending on what state you're in too. If there's a commission, oh Lord, it's not free. There's a
That's
bunch of
not.
stuff you got to do. Now Texas, you can just do it. I know in like North Carolina, yeah, yeah, sure, go ahead. Florida, yeah, why not? But like Oklahoma, Louisiana, South Carolina, Kentucky, you got to pay to play. You know what I mean? So it can be hard, but yeah, man, being the champion of a place like Battlezone that's got just all that in Mississippi anyway, all that history and stuff. It That's pretty neat too. Knowing that out of like 27 years of prestige, of course, probably been some low times and some high times, but knowing that you're the current guy for something that's been around for
Yeah,
27 years, that's pretty sweet in and of itself. And I don't
yeah.
plan on stopping until I just have to, but I'm always going to look back at these first couple of years and be like, man, I did some cool stuff. Did some stupid
There you
stuff
go.
too, but. It was more cool than stupid, I guess.
It's all fun, man. It's all good. You're gonna have your highs and your lows. Everybody does, every career. Some people start over, some people get burnt out, they take a break, so then they try to come back, some people resurrect a career.
Yeah, right.
Right there, I mean, it's that desire. Every wrestler, not everybody, but the majority of the wrestlers that continue in this business that have any kind of longevity, they have that burning desire where it keeps them up at night. They can't sleep or something sparks. Maybe you go like me. I went to the wrestling for Reese and I hadn't been around a live show for years. Man, getting there, the smell of the ring, just getting into the ring and laying down on the mat, that just reignited, resparked everything. Said, "Yep, this is home. This is where you're supposed to be," and it's there. It's there.
I remember that's actually the day I met you was you came in
Yep,
to Wrestling for Wreaths in Alexandria UW show, and to
yep,
date still our biggest pull. I think we had like 1,000 at that one, and
yeah. That was a good show. Very good show.
man, and I've said this before. I said, God, if we could do that again, because we were so green, and they still loved it. Now imagine what we could do now. I mean, now that
Yeah,
everybody's been
yeah,
fleshed out and stuff.
yeah.
But I remember you came in and was, being the ring crew boss, like, hey guys, let's get this up, let's get this moved, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then after the matches, you were paying it forward, coming up to all of us, giving us the talk. Hey, fix this, do this. I love this. I didn't like this, and I'll never forget. Me and the gatekeeper fought each other in that one. It was before we were teaming together, and we're throwing our chops in, and we're getting sound. We're inflicting pain. We're doing what you're supposed to do, but they weren't TV quality chops, I don't guess, because I remember you coming to me after that and saying, "Hey man, pretty good match. I liked your work." And then that chop with the or that spot with the chops, and I was like, "Yeah, it was awesome." You were like, "Don't ever do that again." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, just let's just no.
Just keeping it there.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Soto, for those words. Appreciate that. And
it
then,
didn't hit you as hard. It didn't hit you as hard as you only have one ring, one pair of tights.
God,
It will never hit you. It will never hit you that hard.
no, because when Bam Bam Malone said that to me, he wasn't like he was being so legitimate. He was like, wait, hold on. You only got one set of gear. I'm like, all right, this phone call's over. Goodbye.
I think he was actually shocked. He was a little. I don't know if he was shocked or he just felt bad for you.
Yeah. I was like, all right, just because you said that, I'm going to have so many pairs of gear now. You can
I
never.
think I heard. I think I heard him turn around and tell his wife, "Hey, honey, can you grab some old stuff? I need to box it up. I
Yeah.
got a friend who's going to need it."
Yeah, man. That's a business idea. Actually, we need to do
There you
like a,
go.
a goodwill for wrestling gear for workers.
There you go.
You have to have like a union card. That way all the backyarders can't just go take our stuff. Yeah, you got to have like a Costco
Oh man.
membership or something to be there. Man, yeah.
There you
Hey,
go.
we've started a podcast and a magazine. We might as well go ahead and start that too.
Might as well start a store. Might as well start a wrestling store.
Yeah, you have to show proof like YouTube clips of your matches and a resume to get your membership card. Then you can come
I
browse.
mean,
That would
there's all this stuff.
dude, that might make us some money. Who knows? I mean, Lord knows we need it
Yeah.
these days. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, folks, remember the magazine is available now. The next issue will be out late April. That is going to be the spring 25 edition. Oh, that's when that'll hit the digital shelves. Paper copies coming soon. And remember, come find us online, Southern Wrestling HTN.net. Manu, you got anything to add?
Nope. Sounds like you got some good shows coming up. You got some. You got weekends filled. You're out there, man. You guys are banging. You're doing. And guess what? There's indie shows everywhere. Just get online, look, no matter where you're at. Everybody you see on the podcast, names that you hear dropped. Pull up their names, Instagram, anything else, social media, it'll be posted. But yeah, I'm looking forward to coming back to Austin, Texas in June, man. I'm dying for that. I'm really looking to go back home and get back into Texas and do this again.
That's going to be insane. I'm going to be watching that one from Gorilla like a hawk, watching you come back in there, man. That's going to be so much fun. And the next big high-profile show I can think of in this area, of course, you got over there in Houston and stuff, Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. He's always got big stuff going on. Hurricane Pro and Beaumont, they're got a big thing going on still. That's some high-quality stuff with some names that gets brought in. But the next big high-profile one that I will be involved in is Battle Zone Championship Wrestling's Widow Fest, which is a 2-night spectacular. Dapper Dan's on that card. Thank you very much. A
Nice.
lot of your favorite UWE stars are going to be on that card. We've got Austin Andrews making his debut over there. X-Storms, Ruthless Devontae Adams, the Gatekeeper, and then myself in the main event of night 2 against the Pharaoh of Funk. And I will be defending my title. Just putting that out there now. So, all right, folks,
There you go.
mark it all on your calendars.